Welcome to Famous Daily, the place where we revisit extraordinary journeys, uncover the stories behind the spotlight, and explore the hidden chapters of Hollywood's most iconic figures. Today, I invite you to step into a memoir-like retelling of Steve Harvey's life, a man who rose from the lowest depths to the highest peaks of success. If you look at Steve Harvey today, it's hard to imagine how many scars his childhood carried. Born into poverty in West Virginia, he grew up with thin meals, drafty walls, and dreams constantly pressed down by harsh reality. But it was there, in that small, struggling home, that an extraordinary resilience took shape. Steve once said, "I grew up poor, but I never allowed poverty to define me." Those early hardships became the first chapter in a story the world would later celebrate. There was a time when Steve Harvey owned nothing but an old car and an unfinished dream. 3 years living homeless, showering at gas stations, sleeping behind a steering wheel. These aren't myths but the unvarnished truth about the man who would one day become a superstar. Yet every time he stepped on stage, even for 5 minutes, he felt like he belonged there. The small bursts of laughter from the audience became the only lifeline pulling him away from despair. And from those tiny stages, he slowly walked into the spotlight. When Steve Harvey exploded in the comedy scene, many thought he had simply hit the jackpot. But only he knew the price he had paid: sleepless nights, humiliation, and an unwavering belief in himself when no one else believed. Success eventually allowed him to buy a massive estate in Atlanta, a property so large that he once joked, "Walking from the bedroom to the living room feels like a hike." Alongside it came a collection of luxury cars: Rolls-Royce, Bentley, high-end sports models, not for showing off, but as reminders of the days he once lived in a broken-down vehicle. Fame and fortune crowned him, but the things he cherishes most lie far beyond the glitter. Today, Steve Harvey no longer chases fame as he once did. He spends time with his family, enjoying quiet evenings with his wife and children, embracing the simplicity he never had growing up. Under the bright lights of Hollywood, he has chosen peace. He has chosen to be a family man, a father, a husband, long before being a celebrity. Looking back at Steve Harvey's life is like reading a memoir of constant rebirth. A man who hit rock bottom many times but never allowed himself to stay there. If there's one message he hopes to pass on, it would likely be what he often repeats. You can't control where you start, but you can absolutely decide where you finish. And that is why Steve Harvey's journey continues to inspire millions around the world.